Welcome to the Happy Being Well podcast, where we talk about strategies and insights so you can live happy being well with your host, Rita Farruggia. This podcast is presented by happybeingwell.com, your online store providing the best in all natural wellness products, such as natural essential oils, all natural bath products, all natural facial masks, all natural deodorants, irresistible leggings, crystals, including crystal home decor and kitchen items, herbal teas, natural sleep aids, and so much more natural wellness goodies at happybeingwell.com. Free shipping on any order within the USA at happybeingwell.com. Now enjoy the show.
Hi, guys. Welcome to the Happy Being Well podcast. I'm your host, Rita Farruggia. I know I haven't dropped a new podcast in ages. I actually did record a podcast earlier with my guest. Her name is Ashley Cummings. However, we went like over 3 hours. So at some point, I will drop that, but I have to chop it up into smaller podcast pieces. So that will be released soon. But today we have a fabulous topic we're going to be discussing, and it's totally, totally relevant to today's times. And I'm sure everybody has been, dealing with this. And we're going to be talking about how to have clear thinking, stay clear-minded, clear thinking, and be focused and maintain peace amidst both macro chaos and micro chaos. So macro being, all the world events happening around us and like things that we can be saddened by or angry by. And then of course micro being, things happening in our day-to-day personal lives that could be coworkers, spouses, partners, friends, family member, anything that, that's involved in our personal life. So um, and we all could, I mean, I could relate to this. It's very hard to stay clear centered. And that's what our topic is going to be about. Like, what strategies me and Ashley, employ and, you know, while we're navigating today's social climate and our own personal lives simultaneously. So, me and Ashley briefly were talking about this earlier, and sharing our thoughts around it. Um, so I'll just quickly go. So Ashley Cummings, she has a YouTube video and it's growing. I'm so proud of her. I remember watching her YouTube channel when she only had like 300 subscribers and now she's at over 3,000 subscribers. And it's really, really, really amazing to see that, somebody that's like was diligent, resilient, continued to make videos. So anybody who's tried to build something, a social following, knows like sometimes it really takes resilience and determination and persistence. So Ashley, so you, I'm sure, have so many strategies on how to stay clear thinking amidst, um, you know, th- um, chaos, whether that be micro or micro. I'm moving around because I have a toddler, so I'm watching my toddler as I'm recording this podcast. So Ashley could take it away.
Fair enough. I feel like there's a lot of moving and shaking that happens when you have a toddler, right? I just wanted to reestablish what micro and macro were in terms of external influences. So macro is kind of everything that's happening external to us that is complete. Like one thing I love is focus on write a list. I love this exercise. I did this a while ago. Write a list of things that you have control over and then write another list of things you do not have control over and only focus on the things that you have control over. There's so much that we do not, as humans, as citizens of the United States, as citizens of the planet, that we do not have control over, right? But then there are things that are micro, our families, which we usually don't have control over either, right? But daily stressors or things that we could do differently in our daily lives that help the micro parts, which equals the parts of life that we can control, which equals literally ourselves, right? Either our reactions, our choice not to react, etc. But yeah, I think this is a very important topic for right now.
Yes, totally. Choosing not to react.
It's
For
not
me,
easy on the
yeah,
micro or macro level, in my
yeah.
opinion.
I think micro, like personal, is more challenging than macro because it hits close to home. It's part, these are personal relationships that hurt you because you're dealing with whatever relationship that you're dealing with, whether it's a partner or a coworker or a sibling or a friend, they can hurt you because it's like it's always shocking,
It feels
you know.
personal on that level.
Hmm. Yeah, it's personal and you just get so disappointed. And I think sometimes learning the art of acceptance, like this is not about you. It's so much easier said than done.
Like
Um,
not taking things personal kind of thing.
yeah, like it's more about them than you. But at the same time, sometimes they have consequences to their actions and that's the probably the most trickiest to deal with. Like you can abstract the their behavior by that. By the way, that actually took me time to like really understand that it's really about them, not you, with life experience. Um,
Yeah. I think for people that are empathic like us and like that have a modicum of self-awareness, it's not abnormal. It's more normal, I think, to think it's us than to think it's them.
mhm. Yeah, like you get caught up in like, oh my goodness, like why me? Like why did they hurt me? Or like why are they doing this to me? Did I do something? Or is it, or you try to in your mind tries to like understand like their behavior too. Like you just go
Well,
into like,
yes, that too. I think you and I both are like, in the same in that way where we want to know like how can this it could never be that's not never a way that you or I would react. So you try to understand. And one thing my father said, I think I've shared this with you, because I'd be like, Dad, why did this happen? Why did this mean person do this to me or that? And he's like, actually stop trying to figure out a mind that you don't use. Like don't try to figure out like your brain does not work that way, basically.
yeah, yeah, Nicholas. Okay, I'm literally walking around the house with the toddler to keep him. There's Nick. So while recording
Hi,
this podcast,
Nick. I love
well,
you, Nick.
so yeah, it's that what your father had said. It's a great point. You can't under you can't take a PhD in somebody else's evolution. That's their evolution of their personal, past history that they've decided to choose. That's the personality component that they're going to operate by, through life, how they're going to navigate through life based on, their traumas or how they've decided to navigate the world with their defense mechanisms or strategies for life based on their limited experience of life. So we all have different experiences of life, and it's limited to each and every one of us. We all have different, and then we react a certain way, and people have different patterns of experiences that keep repeating and repeating itself, and then it sends a message. Well, this is how we generalize it. We generalize that like this is how everything is and this is how everybody is, so I'm going to be this way, right? And our human brain is has a tendency to do that. And then we can
Not to
just
interrupt you, but isn't it also simplified as a normal or not crazy brain can't understand a crazy brain? Or unhealthy. Maybe that's a better word.
um a healthy brain can't understand. Yeah, it's yeah, I can speak from personal experience. I always get into the rabbit hole of trying to understand the brain. Like, how are they thinking this way? Or like, why? I always do. I always get caught up in that. Um, and I just think it's just we're addicted to like wanting to understand things, know things, cause and effect, I think. I mean, maybe more so more so than others. Like some people probably, like for myself, I always wanted to know the why. So I'm probably can get really addicted and stuck into the rabbit hole of trying to find the answer, like what caused this behavior, or some in some situations. But if you're not them, if you don't think like them, or you would never imagine to behave that way or think that way, it's very difficult to understand it because you're not relating to that type of behavior, that type of thinking. It's not, it's abnormal thinking to you because it's not a part of your operating system. We all have different operating systems.
Well, I love the topic. Can you tell me what made you think of it? Like, is it more the stuff that's going on? Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I think, well, I've always like, I think especially since 2020, that was a crazy time. And I got hit with both um, trauma macro with what was going on with COVID and micro at the same time because I was going through making important decisions for my life at the same time. And I was engaged. I was supposed to get married and sell my home. And at the same, I left a career behind to do, and then all of a sudden COVID's, it was, and I wasn't getting along with my fiance. We're having problems, and so I called off the engagement, and but then when COVID happened, it got me scared, and so I
I don't
think,
think anyone wasn't terrified when COVID happened, to be fair,
exactly,
but on
yeah,
top of like ending an engagement and other things, it must have been very
yeah, 'cause
tricky.
it was two major events happening simultaneously, both macro and micro. And it really just like shook me to my core, where I was like, because everything was being the stuff that we had never saw before, everything was being locked down, that we've never witnessed before and never think would ever happen. So that's probably why I'm bringing it up as as a podcast topic, is because it hits home with everybody. And I think during the COVID time, it really, especially simultaneously with micro events happening at the same time, it really opened my eyes to how external events and um,
External, like macro external.
yeah, and micro as well in terms of like, making decisions about, uprooting yourself or getting married to a particular person, all these things, which is a major change in life, dealing with change and dealing with, I think I'm a person that I've always tried to have a predictability model. Like I'm like, okay, if I do this, this is going to happen. I think most people want to live that way. We want to live safely and stuff like that. So,
Well, I think
um,
if you go to a certain if you get to a certain place of planning and goal setting, and remember, like you and I have talked about this, like setting goals without a time. What is it? Setting goals without. I always chop up slogans that are so basic. If you set a goal without an attached time, well, my old mentor used to say that's a crack pipe dream or something. But setting goals is one thing, having intentions is another. But setting goals properly with an attached time, I think is very important. But I think specifically when you have goals and you have boundaries but then all this other stuff comes in, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. You have goals. Yeah,
It's
but
like I've done all this stuff inside myself and to protect like as much as I can. And I think when we get to micro, or just to establish micro, for me, micro is only ourselves. I don't think that we can change or do anything besides what's inside of us. We can control, quote unquote, we can navigate things with, better, what's the word? I want to use the word control because I don't like that word, but we can discipline ourselves to not react. We can train ourselves to not let ourselves be compromised by the micro stuff, the macro stuff, which in my opinion, I feel like is everything besides us. Even though micro can feel like, oh, it's our family, our siblings, or this or that, I feel like everything outside of ourselves is macro, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
But then there's like macro, like, you know, which is all the political stuff, everything, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think well that was and I think, as we get older or more we ev further evolve in our consciousness, like that was a pivotal moment in learning more about my consciousness, is because it forced me to not f- well, I guess in a way forced me. But I mean, I didn't really force me because I had to like look within and like realize, well, why was I behaving that way? And why was I um being so fearful of making that particular type of decision? And you just learn more about yourself, and you learn more about your fears, and you learn more about in that of our programming, that operating system, basically the programming that we got through childhood, what our parents said or did, and you know, um,
Conscious and unconscious stuff, right?
right, and ways of like strategies for living and stuff like that. So, um, and also change, dealing with major change, like that was, selling my house was a big deal to me, like at that time, because I lived there for 11 years and that was my sacred space. Um, and I
That
was
was
in a
in
long
Canada, right?
And I was in long distance relationship, so it's like I had I would we would go and see each other and spend amazing time together, and then I would go back to my my space, and that's the dynamic that I was used to. And of course I missed him when when we were apart and stuff, but we knew we were going to get, however, when it came down to like actual okay, it's gonna be 24/7. Like there's no other place you're gonna be running to, you know what I mean? It got real. It got really real, because before it was an abstract way of thinking, oh yeah, I want to sell, I want to do this, I want to get married to you, and da, da, da. But then when it started getting real, then the fears started bubbling up. And then I started delaying the process. I started like interviewing like 12 realtors. And I just like, oh, I just want to make sure I hire the best one. And I was like doing things to stall the process.
When you
And
sold your house,
yeah, yeah. And that was
do you think the
before.
stalling was like an unconscious, like, I'm not sure I want to let go of my safe place?
Yes, yes, totally. I was literally so torn when it became real. I like, oh my goodness, like it was such a safe place for me. And so, but then COVID happened after. So I was stalling before COVID, but then when COVID happened, the fear of like, oh my goodness, like the world changing and like not being able, locking down and everything like that was so scary. And so that made me realize, well, I do love this person. So why wouldn't I want to, be with the person I love? And I would feel safe if I was with him, type of, especially with the way the world was going. So that was the catalyst um, to push me, to actually motivate me to sell and go through that change. And then the thing is, when it's an external motivator like that to push you, but yet you still have these internal fears about the person, or it's going to come up again, and it did. So I did not proceed.
Fears are gut instinct messages. I'm just wanting to ask you that question.
Gut instinct messages.
Like when you say you have these internal fears, is are those fears possibly like your gut or your instincts being like, this isn't a good idea? Because I know you didn't end up with a guy that you sold your house for.
Right. Um, yeah, the body
I mean, I
was
know there were a lot of fears, obviously, around the COVID period of time, 2020, 2021, and stuff. But maybe there was also something about that guy, if that makes sense. Because I know you didn't end up marrying him.
right. Yeah, he was a challenging character, to say the least. He had narcissistic personality disorder, which I've you
You know,
know,
you're never supposed
just
to call out the narcissist, right? That makes you look like a narcissist. Just saying. I know that it's true, but
yeah, no, he legit had the disorder, and so, but I, fell deeply in love with him. And people like this, they're not. always horrific, in terms of their controlling nature, in terms of their um, ability to psychologically torture or, abuse you or dominate you or whatever. That's not always this like um, horrible experience. On the flip end, they offer this amazing experience, and so it's very difficult to walk away, especially when, um, it's, you know, people could say, oh, it's not, when they're with someone like that, it's not
Just
like
real
real.
quick, can I have you ask you a question?
Yeah.
Are you just doing audio? Is this going to be the podcast like you walking around? I'm just
It's
curious.
it's gonna be about, I guess people are gonna show how what it is to be a mom doing a podcast with a toddler. Like this is how I'm doing it with no babysitter.
Baby, look at me. Just like that. Right here. Yeah.
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 So my toddler's
No,
running
it's
around.
perfect. I love it. I was just curious because I know you're going to edit it and stuff.
Yeah, so it's like this is what I have to do to keep him calm. But yeah, so there was a lot of romantic, huge romantic, love gestures and stuff like this. There's a lot of epic experiences that they provide. But I mean, I really did it. And then he had amazing, admirable qualities to him. Like he was extremely intelligent and, um, I learned so much from him. So there was just a lot of positive aspects to the relationship, and a lot of experiences that were highly cherished that we co-created together in a bond. So, but you get but that's what keeps you enmeshed into that relationship. And so it's difficult to walk away, even though it's met with controlling behavior and it's either my way or no way type of thing, or gaslighting and stuff like this, and or just to cause chaos, just for the joy of causing chaos within you, and confusion, just so they can to kind of like show that they're in control. Like I'm the dominant. I'm dominating you. I'm dominating your emotions. I can make you happy. I can make you sad. I can make you angry. I can make you confused. It's that type of thinking that they have. And but I under, and I just it was just I again going back to me wanting to understand his personal evolution. I knew his evolution and I kind of understood how he evolved to that type of thinking based on his
Can
personal
we
past
pause
life.
it for 1 second?
Yeah.
Can I just ask you a question? We talked about this before we went live, about how I think actually maybe we bled into it or had a segue as we went live. Um, we were talking about how normal, healthy minds cannot understand crazy ones, but
Right.
that you and I specifically have a propensity to need to understand or want to understand. And I shared something
Yeah.
that my dad said, when I would say constantly, like, why did this person do this to me? I mean, since I was a kid, why did this person push me into the sandbox? Like, they asked me from, like a kid asked me to help him up from the sandbox, but then he like pulled me down and pushed my face into the sand. Why did they do that? For me, it was more always like, why? I think you have similar questions about people that operate in different ways than you and I do. But then again, it's like, so we can take my sister. Perfect example. I was with her my whole entire life. She's just 12 months younger than me. We had the same life experience. I mean, we didn't have the same life experience. There's actually a guy named Gabor, Mater Gabor, Gabor. And he says no two kids or three kids have the same experience of their parents or growing up. So, like, you know me very well for what, 5, 6 years now. And trying to understand that whole rabbit hole, get it? Pun intended, wasn't intended, but it turned out to be helpful, I think. Even with all the information I could extrapolate and try to find a defense for her behavior, it still didn't make sense to me. Does that make sense what I just said? Like you just
Yeah.
said you understand how your ex who had highly narcissistic behavior or
Yeah.
propensities
Yeah, like
Like I
I
get it. I
understood.
get how my sister, just an analogy to your ex, sorry, and then I'll shut up.
Yeah.
I get how she can say no, 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 no. And then there's actually stuff that because I am not her, I'm not in her body, and you're not in your ex's body, right? So I did take the time to try to figure out this behavior now, but it still doesn't logically make a ton of sense to me. Does that make sense? And I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah.
the same with your ex.
Yeah, it's well, I think I had an empathy based on his, traumas that he sustained, multiple trauma and
But you've
even
sustained trauma. I've sustained trauma. We don't act like that. We
that's
don't
true
hurt
too.
people. We don't
That's true.
attack people. We don't withhold from people. We don't do a lot of things. I do, but there's nothing that gives you permission to treat someone so poorly.
Hmm. Yeah.
Can I mention a little bit about that or no?
Well, it's
Okay, never
no,
mind.
not
Let's just keep going. Like it speaks to what an amazing person you are because you have so many people that love you.
um yeah, so I think, we do and speaking of my ex deceased fiance.
But that was yeah.
Um, I had the intention of moving to Florida to marry him, but then it didn't go because then our core issues, resurfaced again. So it wasn't enough where the external event pushed me into realizing, oh, I love this person and like I want to, be with him. What am I doing? And da, da, da. So that, but underneath the carpet was our core issues. Me having a fear of like I actually did at some point try to, I did so many things that I was going to mitigate around
What does
being
that
with
mean? You
someone,
did so many things you were going to mitigate around.
like trying to think of so many different psychological strategies, and like I actually learned so much about personal development so I can like, oh, I'm gonna like mitigate around his disorder. I'm like, I got it. I'm gonna have all these strategies. I can like, be able to like, live with this person and like not be so affected. Like, for example, I'm gonna, when he acts, acting out, I'm going to make sure I have a good friendship network, support network. So like that help mitigate the blows. And when he goes into those episodes, also, I think I like heavily invested into NLP training back in years and years and years ago, like in 20,
Wait,
like,
hold on. NLP, neuro linguistic.
yeah, so it helps you to be an effective communicator, dealing with, difficult, challenging characters too as well. So, or even just as a
What
as
does
a
the P stand for again in NLP?
programming. Yeah,
Neuro linguistic pro. No, it's not linguistic.
yeah, yeah,
It is
yeah.
neuro linguistic programming.
Mhm.
So I was really into that for a bit. And then I found out it was like deleterious to us. I forgot what it was. It's something that maybe CIA used or something like this. NLP is anyway, what was your experience of NLP?
It's basically just strategies designed to either communicate with yourself or communicate with others based on how our mind literally, our brain, I should say, and mind operate, right? So it teaches you how we filter through information, based upon our personality, we're going to either generalize, distort the information. And so it gives you a good understanding of
It's
how
just those two. It's either we're going to generalize or distort it.
there's a third one, and I forget what it is right now. It's generalize, distort, and I'm forgetting the third
I
one.
feel like, and tell me if I'm wrong, justify or like a synonym to justify, generalize,
Uh,
distort, and
mm, I think just I don't know, but I don't know. I can't for whatever reason it's slipping.
rationalize. No?
I
I
think
said it with so much confidence.
you would be rationalizing based upon whether you're generalizing the information or distorting the information,
Yeah.
based on your filter. Um,
Reject. No, I don't
Mm,
know.
that is projecting, right? You're
No, I
projecting.
said reject.
Oh,
Like reject the information completely.
oh,
Denial.
maybe reject. No, omitting. Maybe omitting information might be one of them. Yeah, omitting the information. Yeah, it might be one of them.
We're gonna figure that out.
We could Google it. Can't believe I forgot it. It's been so. I can't believe I forgot the third
It
one.
might be a good thing though, because I was in 2017. I don't know if you know this, just before I met you, maybe like a year or two before I met you. Um, I was like talking about NLP and getting into NLP, and then I learned that like every intelligence agency on the planet uses NLP, and it's hypnosis is involved as well, correct? Usually.
Yeah, it is really very much so a form of hypnosis. It's kind of like conversational hypnosis. You're not the person when you're hmm, yeah, I would say some of the techniques they teach you when you're communicating with yourself, it's kind of like I would say kind of a form of hypnosis, when
Yeah,
you're
because it's like rewiring, retraining your brain type stuff.
yeah, especially when you're trying to anchor in um power states, because you would have to like think of a time when you feel really, really confident and then you like touch a knuckle, for example, and you try to associate that emotion with the knuckle over and over and over again. Is so t
Whoa,
you're
whoa, whoa,
touch
back it up. What?
so
Sorry.
there's one technique that you can do and
So I have a knuckle. So
mhm.
is it like if I have a feeling that I don't like, I rub my knuckle?
Yeah, like just give an example. Say you have fear of flying or fear of, let's say public speaking. And that would just really associate with confidence. So say you have a fear of public speaking and you have to present on stage and say you want to anchor, uh, confidence into your knuckle so that when just before going on stage, you can literally just push your knuckle and all of a sudden you would feel confident because you've programmed that that touch of that Pacific knuckle with that state of emotion, which would be confidence, feeling confident because the technique involves you personally in private to recall a moment in your life that you were really, really confident, step into the feeling, feel what you feel, see what you see, hear what you hear, over and over again, and just continuously touch your knuckle when you feel that you've reached peak experience of that confidence. And then you just do that over and over again so that basically you are now conditioned that touch to that emotion. So when you're on stage before giving the talk, you just touch your knuckle and then you would feel that association with a touch of confidence. So that's one example of, a technique that really kind of involves a form of hypnosis because you are kind of hypnotizing yourself through that conditioning process. Yeah.
A way of, well, it's sold. And I'm sure there are people that do it properly. I'm not doubting this, but it's rewiring neural pathways, which is a very important thing for a lot of people, specifically people that have been through trauma, specifically people like you and me. But I want to just like circle back to your original topic about how there are macro and micro things. Like for me, the neural programming, uh, what I knew about it and what I extrapolated in 2016, 17 was like this is a way I can heal myself. But then there are people that are like, people that I trust and also my own experience that was like there's a different way to do it that isn't I don't know. I'm terrified of hypnosis for a lot of reasons that we don't have to talk about now. But there is a movie or a show, if you guys haven't seen it, called Hypnotic. It's on Netflix. Have you seen Hypnotic?
No, I haven't seen
So
that.
that's an important movie for me, or it's a show, I guess, movie or show. Hypnotic. But hypnosis can be so incredibly helpful, but if the person that's doing it doesn't have your best interest at heart or doesn't get you completely, it can be devastating.
Hmm.
I think I've told you about when I was in that situation where I had to like pretend I was asleep and pretend I was under hypnosis.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're in that, no, I,
Unlicensed uh,
Yeah, that
that was
facility.
basically false imprisonment. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, it's wild, but it's just yeah, so going back to achieving clarity amidst the chaos. So
Right. So
you
let's talk about your original, like when you, I loved the topic when you said that. And I think we did start talking, at least in the last few days, about like, I'm, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Can you tell me exactly what you remember? It was something about like how things in our, on our planet globally are so intense, but then there's also the micro, like things just around us
right.
like that are
You know,
intense. Like Venezuela's macro, right? ICE is kind
mhm,
of macro, but then we have the daily stresses that we've always had,
right.
and
Hmm.
then navigating one versus the other, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, we're living it simultaneously because
Simultaneously, yes.
And so it's, for me, I remember when like the only thing I can think of really when I was really attached to what was going on really is COVID because it directly affected. I mean, we were locked in our homes. It really affected me. I was just like literally so scared. Um, is that, it can hijack, and this is how I started seeing how that external event, that massive fear of like not having control of like literally leaving your house or jumping on a airplane to go
Were you and
somewhere.
you guys were allowed to exercise for like 15 minutes a day? And if you got caught like riding your bike or jogging for longer than 15 minutes, you would get a ticket?
You were not allowed to be outside at all. Like not to a park, not to a hiking trail. It was literally, I remember a friend picked me up to go for a coffee. And we were talking in a parking lot, just chattering over coffee because, it was a weird time. Like, you couldn't go in or would distance. And
I was just
so
gonna say, coffee shops, I don't think were open here. The only things that were open, ironically enough, were gas stations, liquor stores, and weed shops that
so
were
I remember,
considered essential businesses.
yeah,
And like
it
I think
was
like CVS and Rite Aid, but like Starbucks wasn't allowed to be open. Like coffee shops were not open.
a cop knocked on our window saying, "What are you doing? Why you're out? You're supposed to be indoors."
A cop knocked. You're having coffee inside your own home or at a coffee shop?
At a car in a parking lot.
Oh, I thought you said you were sitting in the coffee shop. So you guys got coffees.
You're not allowed to. I think the coffees were, I think the drive-through was open only. So you
You guys
go.
like went to the parking lot just to like chill and talk and have coffee, and a cop knocked on your door of the
Mhm,
window of the car.
mhm. Why are you out? You're supposed to be indoors. You're supposed to be inside.
What did you guys say?
I can't even remember, to tell you the truth. I think my friend did that. I can't even remember. Like, oh yeah, we're just, you know, uh, getting back home now. Like we're just, you know, we're going home now. Something like that, like it was just a crazy time. So, um, that's just to give you an example of, yeah, it was just, they really caused like a fear in me. And so that was reflecting in my decisions in my personal life too, because all this fear is being amplified, and then it was carrying over into my personal life decisions, right? So I think that probably had another part to play into being more fearful of like going through with marrying my ex-fiance. Yes, of course he was a challenging character, but I was like, and there was issue, that was a fear too, like, oh, like, because of the long distance relationship that we had sustained, that helped to deal with his challenging character because you would get breaks. But then living together 24/7, that reality of dealing with him all the time started setting in. So that was, yeah. And then I think with the COVID, the fear also carried over into fear of, making that decision of committing to that relationship with marriage. So this is why it's like I started to really see, looking back in hindsight, how everything was interplaying with everything in terms of how our emotions get spilled over into our decision-making process, how we start to perceive the personal aspects of our life, you know, based upon how we're reacting or the how what fear is being instilled into us based on what we're seeing around us, can make us more fearful in our day-to-day life events and making decisions. And so it clouds our ability to think clearly, and also to, people chiming in their opinions upon what you should be doing and how they see the situation, can cloud your thinking as well. So it's always really important to stay tuned into your intuition and make sure that you're not adopting other people's perspectives as your own, because that's not genuine, it's not authentic, and they could never like know what's really good for you because they're not you. You know what I mean? Like, and also too, we do have sometimes we have to go through certain um, situations or events for our soul journey, for our soul growth. Like sometimes there's a lesson that we actually needed to learn through that experience in order to elevate higher into consciousness. Um, Not necessarily all the time, but there are some events that, are required to kind of really understand the lesson that we have to experience through that was part of our blind spot, so yeah. So it's yeah, I that's why I bring it up because it really opened up my eyes to that whole journey and that whole process of how it can hijack our personal lives.
I was just gonna say, I feel like there are a lot of very valid analogies to 2020 and now in a different way, if that makes sense. Some of this stuff is what we were talking about before, and I don't know if it's smart to even say out loud, like YouTube terms of service or whatever, like things happening in Minnesota, things that are happening, period. But it's a different kind of fearful state that a lot of people are in, whether, and like I don't get into politics, but like whether you're on this side or that side, there's a element of uncertainty that I think that was one of the very valid responses that people had during the whole COVID period of time. Like what's happening, what's going on. I can't even go get coffee and have a coffee with my friend and uh in the car, things like this. And it changes the way you feel navigating this life in this world, I believe.
Hmm. Yeah, it's well, I mean, it it was in that moment of that time. I just remember just like I started to see how it was affecting spilling that fear was spilling over into other aspects of my life. Like I said, like more fear towards getting married to my deceased ex-fiance. It amplified the fear. It was an amplifier.
Oh, you're
And
talking about Shauna? No,
Shannon.
thank you. Thank you. Sorry.
He was a he. He just had Shannon's and a popular Irish name. Yeah. So,
Well, I
mm,
mean, I think that's like when you go back to what you said earlier, you talked about chaos.
yeah.
And I
Okay.
think there has been an up and down like level of rising and falling chaos, but it's basically been like since 2019 or like right before COVID, right? There's been this like sort of sustained level of chaos globally, right? And then shoot it up in 2020 or 2021, right? But then people kind of didn't. I mean, I saw a video, I think I probably shared it with you, Rita. I saw a video in 2023 or so of a woman that still had not left her house since 2020. And
Oh, wow.
I know. I mean, bless her heart on my life, bless her heart. But was ridiculous to me. She hasn't left her house, besides like getting mail and whatever, um, she rented out a movie theater. Whenever the Barbie movie came out into theaters, that's when this happened. And I believe that was 2023, 2024. And she's like, I'm renting out she's like double, triple, 5,000 times. And she rented out like a mini movie theater to finally, after 4 years, see her friends and watch this movie, which ironically is Barbie. I mean, I have to send you the video. I have to find it because this woman is like extremely liberal, extremely what's the word I would say? I don't know. She's not the kind of person I would think would be the first person lined up to see Barbie. I will say this, but she rented out a small theater to watch Barbie with like 12 of her friends, and they would all be sitting. This is in 2023, whatever Barbie came out, and it was in theaters, and they would all be sitting with at least a seat between them and wearing masks. And she had a decent following, I guess. And so some people wanted to go. I guess the theater was for 30 people, but like two or three of them didn't want to wear masks. They're like, it's 2023. We want to support you and we're still your fan or whatever. I forget who the creator is. I'll find it for you. She has like blonde, frizzy hair. It's a whole thing. She makes this like angry video. You're not coming to my movie premiere without a mask and blah 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 blah. And it's just like this is crazy. And to your point, we are walking amongst these people still, if that makes sense. I think everyone should do what they need to do for themselves, going back to micro, taking care of yourself. You can only really control internal circumstances, whether micro or macro, whether it's your family, your job, your circumstances equals micro, or the planet, the country, all this other stuff equals macro. The only thing we can really ever have control of, I truly believe this, is our internal circumstances. So this woman got so mad at these two people that were like her like loyal followers, fans, whatever you want to call it, because they asked to go to see a movie 3 years or 2 years after COVID has been determined not to be a thing anymore or whatever, that they wanted to go to a movie and not wear a mask. And she got incensed. Like the video went viral and I was just like, I mean, I don't know what's happening now. You're in California. Like in LA, there's like 50% of people wearing masks again. And I said to a friend of mine recently, like, why do I feel like this is a similar playbook as 2020? Because I think it's just enough time for people to not be super traumatized about what happened, but it's just enough time as well for something else to happen and people will be on point or, pay attention. It feels when you go, there's a book called Chaos. I've covered it on YouTube. I don't know if you were on that live or not, but chaos magic is a thing. But chaos throws us off. Trauma throws us off. Chaos usually precedes trauma, by the way. And you talked about mental clarity, sustaining mental clarity. I think it's nearly impossible when there's external chaos and threats and what was the other word I just used? Micro. It's your podcast. Say something.
Um, yeah, it's definitely feels like it's nearly impossible to achieve clarity amidst chaos. And because our emotions are being triggered. And
And
so,
that I feel like it's strategic.
yeah.
And like I think you had me on here. I mean, I love you. You love me. We're besties. But talking about breathing, talking about things that you can do, like these are all things that are very helpful. But what we're up against feels impossible sometimes,
Mhm.
especially lately, if that makes sense. It's almost just like throw in the towel, like, let the hounds loose. Let's see where the chips fall. Because I think everyone in 2020 got generators and double, triple masks and vaccinations and this and that and that. We did everything we thought that we could. and different ways that we could do it, right? Now it's just like, feel like this is an uphill battle. Might as well just chill in the middle of the hill and like, look at the butterflies and the sky while we have it. Who the fuck knows? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I completely know what you're saying. Yeah, it's just like the only thing we can should be controlling is okay, what am I going to decide to do in this moment? I'm going to take a breath. Am I going to journal? Am I going to just enjoy a couple of herbal tea and or what can I focus on that I want to achieve in this moment that's going to correlate to more future success in whatever realm that is, that whether that's success in your relationships with family members or your personal relationship or your
Like back to
coworker.
goals, you're saying?
Right, go back to goals, like stay on track that because that does release dopamine and that does make you feel like you're achieving like that's you're achieving something. I mean, we do have to be productive. We do have to you have to achieve whether that's getting up in the morning and making your bed or making
It can be
breakfast,
the
right?
simplest things. And again, I think, to controlling our internal circumstances, whether it's 2020 to 2026 or preceding, I think it's always going to be and always has been the only thing that we can really control truly is our internal circumstances, our choices on how to react to the external ones. And I think the micro and the macro, especially in this day and age, feels like it's the same to me, if that makes sense. I think there was so much division that was created because of the fear and the chaos. I remember people that were my friends, family, whatever. Um, did you get this or did you not? Because that's going to change my opinion of you. Da, 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 da. Like, so even more than we've always been, I think, like humans as a we're mammals. That's true. But there's always been divisiveness. And then there's the whole divide and conquer thing that is clearly historically worked forever. But that brought even more like, and I do feel like that period of time was criminal to people. And it makes my eyes water a little because families couldn't see each other. I couldn't, like, I remember my mom, like, I had to like touch a piece of glass in a hospital because they wouldn't let me see her um after like her surgery. Like it was, and then, people's parents died and they couldn't even like touch them. Like that kind of stuff to me, this is morally reprehensible. This is criminal.
Yeah,
Sorry, I didn't mean to cry.
it's okay. It's okay. It's understandable to cry. It's really devastating. It's
It
devastating.
is. But then like, so I can't see my mom after her surgery, but like 100,000 people are supposed to go to what's the donut shop? I don't know, Dunkin' Donuts and get a free year of donuts if they do this thing. Like,
Yeah, I know. I know.
anyway,
It was a crazy time and very traumatic.
but I'm
Yeah.
saying like it's been like I feel like it's been all traumatic. Like what we were talking about before. Sorry, I apologize, everyone. We can edit this out. For the last especially 6 years or since COVID and stuff, like I feel like it's been all kind of like chaos, magic, like division, like um putting the fear of God in people. Like people were terrified at one point. Like first, both ways. People were terrified of people getting it, and then people were terrified of people that got it, and people were terrified of people that didn't get it. And it was like, I'll never forget. I think we covered this on YouTube. I think you were there. The Barry Manilow concert. It's like that guy's still alive, first of all. But second of all, only if you got that thing were you allowed to go. And it's like, and then people like saying that people that didn't get it, that it should die. And then now all these people that are sick from getting it and dying and dead. But operating at all under circumstances that are chaotic and intentionally injected with fear, is a way that you can just bring down the spirit of like like I want to say global, like the what's the word I'm looking for? There's a feeling that I'm familiar with, and it's like for meditation and a bunch of other stuff. Like there's like there's a there's a like something called like the human spirit, and it's all of us. And I feel like that attacked all of us, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
Can you
It's,
excuse me just for 1 second?
yeah, sure, of course.
You hold it down.
hmm So Ashley was just describing how, like, how a macro event, like the regulations, affected a micro event of her, inability to touch her mom after surgery during that time period. And it's, obviously devastating to not be there for a loved one, especially a parent. And and so, and she's now like, saying how it can like hinder our spirits. And so, I think what we're trying to gather throughout this conversation is awareness of the human process condition, how we process things, how we react and process. And the more aware we are, the more intentional or more conscious we can be in how we choose to continue to proceed with our behavior. Are we going to continue to live there and let it navigate our choices and decisions? Or are we going to redirect ourselves, redirect our awareness to something more productive, to stuff that we can control, like so many things we can be doing instead, instead of maybe like ruminating, which is like going over and over the event or staying stuck in a particular emotion and being in paralysis. Like there's so many different ways people can be stuck in a negative disposition that would stall the progress of their life or miss opportunities for success or happiness or other experiences that would bring joy. So this is really the reason why we're talking about this is so that we don't get stuck in these emotional states that would hijack, decisions that could lead to more experiences of joy or success or love and happiness. Um, and that we can just like kind of recalibrate into a much more focused, clear way of thinking. And then by doing that, the next time an event does happen, you're better equipped to kind of deal with how to navigate that situation without getting stuck into that emotional state of whether that's ruminating or that's paralysis, um, or that's, anger and, trying to seek revenge and being stuck in a revenge mode. Sometimes people, what is that famous saying? Um, cut,
Revenge is best served cold. I don't know.
cut your nose to spite your face or something like that.
Cut your
Anyway,
nose to spite your face. I've never chopped that one up before. What does that even mean?
um, sometimes when you're trying to seek like revenge, sometimes it does involve hurting yourself. I think that's, what that slogan pertains to. Like, when people get stuck in like these, sometimes it does involve, it can involve hurting like yourself, like maybe missing an opportunity. I just can't think of a scenario that would.
Well, I'm being like a devil's advocate here because you are so sweet and positive, even more so than me sometimes. Do you think it's literally because this is another form of global, or yeah, I'll just say global gaslighting, that I feel like I don't want to entertain. Do you feel like it's plausible for us to have an iota of a shot in hell to do a lot of this stuff, considering the macro or global pressure that's put on us? What's happening in the United States right now is a perfect example. Like, I mean, you know that I've been teaching and practicing yoga, well, teaching for 20 years, practicing for 25 years. I have a massive toolbox for all kinds of stuff, right? specifically trauma and external things that happen. But I'm not sure we can breathe our way out of this. Does that make sense? Or meditate our way out of this or whatever. And then, back to, just going to interrupt myself, back to people thinking yogis are nice and yogis are love and yogis are light. No, yogis are strong. We're
Hmm.
tough. Real yogis are strong. We're ninjas. Um, but I don't know if there's coping mechanisms besides just knowing, like faith is a thing, but besides just knowing that you know what you know and you know who you are and you don't forget. Like one of the most important meditations I do is a very simple one. I remember. I remember who I am. I know who I am. Because like, for example, COVID, I'm glad you brought it up. It's such a perfect analogy to just talk about like the human race and the human spirit, really. It's like, I mean, the internal disciplines that we can cultivate, like yoga, meditation, breathing, trauma coping mechanisms, all kinds of things. I would not add NLP at this moment right now, just because of what I learned about NLP. But I used to scream and shout about NLP. Like I used to be a big proponent of it, if you will. I think that they're betting on, and they're not wrong. Like they always said, like there's so many things that say the third world war is going to be a mind control war. And I think that's what we're facing right now.
Hmm. Um, yeah, when we talk about like taking a deep breath and like, journaling or meditating or whatever type of tool to use to kind of like achieve calmness and clarity, it's not designed so that we can necessarily change what's going on in the external. I think we just have to kind of accept, what's kind of going on in the external, because really, in reality, we're not exactly the policymaker. It's
I
like
think
you
we're in a
can't.
simulation.
I
Trying to lighten things up here.
I do feel like I'm not sure. I think I do feel that our lives are kind of in a way when you kind of use the like consciousness, achieving levels of consciousness, it's kind of like a game. I do feel it's kind of like a game because it's like something, it's like when you think of a video game and somebody's throwing something at you, you can either jump higher or you can go here or there. You do have decisions to make.
What video games are you playing?
I don't even play video games. I used to play video games like Nintendo when I was a kid. So I'm thinking like what a Super Mario Brothers or whatever, and like I mean I would sometimes play video games as a kid. I was not like one of those addicted to it, but we used to have Nintendo. Um
Like the
so
NES, like the original that had the duck duck at the where you shoot the ducks, which
I
I
just
would
like
never shoot a duck.
you had a
Yeah,
game
like
controller.
Super Mario Brothers,
Yeah.
NES, the
Yeah.
original Nintendo.
Yeah, the original Nintendo. So yeah, I mean, you had decisions to make. You could either like jump up, you can either go forward, you could go back, you can jump, whatever. So you're in this video
You can
game,
throw Luigi under the bus.
right? And then certain choices lead to like more points or getting may possibly, killed or
I like
killing.
how you just said that certain choices lead to more points. And we were talking about choices before. And certain choices can lead to more points in the present, but in the long run, Luigi or Mario will be fucked by these choices.
I
Chess
don't
as
know.
well, same thing. I'm just getting like I knew how to play chess my whole life, but like I'm learning how to like really play chess. And it's like you can do something that makes sense in the moment, but it doesn't make sense long term.
Yeah. Well, yeah, eventually long term it does because you're just continuously elevating your consciousness
But I'm saying
where
if you're making a poor choice that gives you, like, if I take your queen, if I take your king with a pawn, okay, your king can do your horses can do a bunch of shit. Do not take my horses away again. I was playing chess the other day, and you played chess, yeah?
I really actually no, I should, but I'm not.
Well, you
I
should come over with Nick and we can play chess.
Sounds good.
So horses can go in L shapes in chess. So I can take your king, but then your horse is going to take it's a whole thing, but it's strategic. And what I like about the analogy of chess and what we're talking about right now is that things can, like, I can take your king. The
Hmm.
queen is the most important, obviously, always. But I can take your king. But doesn't mean you can't take my queen, which is the most important. Uh, I want to get like a queen thing from my chessboard right now. Um, but you could have a horse that can make the L, or the castle that can go diagonal. Literally, chess, the most intense part for me was learning which pieces can go. This is very, I'm just saying it out loud and I'm realizing how much it makes sense. For me, learning how to really play chess was learning which like the which movements, like the chess, I mean, excuse me, the horse can make an L, the pawn can go two in the first try and then one after that. The castle can go diagonal only. Like, so the ways that you can move and navigate through the world, kind of like chess, you can win in the moment, but you'll lose so much more in the long run, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I think chess is a perfect analogy, is because in order to be a good chess player, you have to think in advance of what that move is going to lead to, what positions that's going to lead to. So that's, a perfect way of thinking on the importance of making clear-headed decisions and using tools to kind of be
But let me
clear.
ask you something. Like, so I had this thought, like, because you know that I've been healing PTSD for a long time. When 2020 happened, one of the first things I thought of, I was like, the whole planet has PTSD right now. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a thing, guys. When put and to make a long story short, that half joke fact is that when all that happened in 2020, 2021, I feel like everyone was nervous one way or the other. They were in a state of trauma. I mean, planes weren't flying, cars weren't driving. You weren't allowed to do the everyone was just kind of like in a, like, and if you had PTSD, as I did preceding COVID, you maybe had a little bit of a edge, if depending on the, like, the progress and your healing at that point, but probably not at the same time, right? And then if you haven't experienced traumatic events preceding this, I feel like you were just at a fucking, like, now everyone is has PTSD, like literally around the planet. And PTSD is paralyzing, makes you hyper vigilant, makes you double think yourself. It's a, was that Nick?
Mhm. No, it's a roommate.
Oh, I was like, Nick got really tall in the last hour. Nick is two and he's my nephew, but that's a different story. Um, so people that weren't used to traumatic events and deleterious situations were even more affected. Um, I mean, do you remember when there was like the six? First of all, where's Fauci? No, don't laugh. I'm asking you.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
It was like you couldn't turn on YouTube or TV or anything and not see that dude. Now he's just gone. But he developed the 6 feet thing, and you'd see people in the market or whatever was open, and there's like footprints, and you have to stand. There's footprints 6 feet in front, so you have to those people, and just seeing people align their feet perfectly to these footprints, and then finding myself aligning myself perfectly with these footprints 6 feet behind, and then him saying like a year ago or something, "Oh, I just made that up." And again, where's Fauci? Dude disappeared.
Mm, no idea.
Can anyone tell me where Fauci is?
No idea. Yeah. Um, yeah.
He's a Jesuit, so I'm not too concerned, but and there aren't a lot of questions in my head. That was a hypothetical question. Rhetorical is a better way to say it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, for me, I'm just realizing the importance of, really just trying to exercise as much control as you can in terms of what we can control in terms of our state and the quality of our lives that we can control. Like, for example, like maybe buying some fresh flowers, or if you like to sing, sing, or get together with some friends, have some kind of celebration. Maybe have like a girl celebration, and each write down your goals and put it in an envelope, do like a little manifesting activity
You're
together, or
so
try
cute, but what the fuck are you talking about? I love you, but what are you talking about?
in terms of like having us to stay clear-headed on our decisions and choices that will impact how we design our lives in the midst of chaos.
Right, but don't you feel like there's a wave of chaos that's coming, or like a wave of chaos definitely came in 2020, 2021, right? And then so now I feel like there are even people, and let me just throw out that woman. I'm telling you, Rita, I don't want to be rude about this, but I'm gonna give you a visual. She's fuck, I hate saying this. She's very like you and I are little. She's very opposite of us in that way. She's very interesting. I'll say that. That's my euphemism for now. And she's been in her house for 4 years.
Yeah, so that's a perfect example of what
She's
that
not
looks.
the only one. I'm telling you, Rita. There are millions like her that are not doing YouTube or TikTok videos and not renting private movie theaters. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There are people
Yeah.
that are still in that place now. So when you talk about getting stuck, I'm like, that's their point. I feel like one of their points, stuck, confused, bunch of other stuff. But it's like, I'm surprised any of us got out of that sane.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think because once everything opened up again, we just started going, we're so happy and we started going out again. We're just so relieved that we can go to a restaurant again and, be with our friends, and then we just got back to that, became familiar again, that sense of familiarity, and we basically just were got over it because t as time goes by, you kind of like, you kind of forget, it's not like we're dwelling, and then like unless you're talking about it like right now we're remembering what we went through, but yeah, I think most of us obviously now we're back into our
Well,
familiar.
it's a different version of that, right? We're not being told to put on masks and be afraid of each other, but everyone has such a strong opinion about what's happening. And let's like, I'm just gonna throw out some things like being divisive about the ah, ah,
Look.
Nick, what are you doing, Nick? You're so cute. You're so cute. I love you, Nick. Oh, look at the smile. I love you, Nick. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Nick, that's your mommy. Yeah, are you playing with your toys and you're playing with your mommy? What toy do you have? What is that? What is it called? What is it called? That's mama's hair.
You want to go in you want to go in the bed? Okay, go in the bed. Okay, go in the bed.
Wait, can I talk to him for a second?
Sure. I'm just scared with this, with the Zoom, that if I like unplug the mic, that it might not work again. Hopefully it won't happen, but I'll unplug.
Nick. Nick. Hi. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Do you remember when we would play games together when you were like 5 days old? Hi. Yeah, it's me. Hi, Nick. Hi, Nick. Hi, Nick. I love you. Aw. Hi. What are you doing today, sir? You playing? You playing with your toy? Let me see your toy. You have a toy? You have a toy? Let me see the toy that you have. It's the one that you have in your hand. Can I see it? I love you, Nick. I love Nick, and he's my nephew, and we got to do lots of things together. Nick likes songs, so I will sing to him. These are songs about Nick to make him smile and grin. I like when Nick smiles 'cause it's so cute. Nick, I love you, and you just turned two. I love Nick. I love Nick. Aw, what are you doing, Nick? What's going on? You got something to show me? You have something to show me? It's okay if you don't. You could do anything. Yeah, there we go. You do anything that you want. Anything that you want. Let me see. Can I see it? I know you have something. I have this. What do you have, Nick? You have something? I love you, Nick. I love you, Nick. I love you, Nick. Everyone loves Nick. You know, your mom doesn't like when I call you Nico, but I still think it's cute when I call you Nico. Nico! Don't tell your mom, though. Shh. Yeah, I'm gonna come see you soon. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. We're going to lunch at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Yeah, we're gonna play and we're gonna do all those things. Yeah, we're having lunch tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. I've missed you. Rita,
Yeah.
he's so
Right
cute.
here. Yeah, so now Nick's going to be a part of the podcast because now he's
He
like,
needs to be,
he,
but thank
he,
God he's like fully clothed. My sister will be putting up pictures of my nephew. I'm just like, what are you doing? Nick, do you remember the day you were born? He's like, what are you talking about? No. Nick, I was there. Well, Juliet was there the day before, but Nick, I love you. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. And we're going to play all kinds of games with all kinds of toys. And there's so many things to do in this place. And you're going to have so much fun. What toy do you have, Nick? I saw it's purple. You don't want to show me? That's okay. No, it's okay. No, no, no. Okay. That's okay. Do
oh,
you
so
like do you
cute.
like dogs, Nick? Do you like animals? What's the animal? What sound does an animal make? Moo. What do you know the animal? Moo. Caca. Caca. He has to know that one, Rita. Caca. Caca. Nick has like dead eyes on me right now. I love you more, Nick. I'll see you tomorrow for lunch. We're
Yeah,
gonna go.
we're gonna
Yeah,
see Auntie Ashley.
yeah, I miss my nephew. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Hey, Nick. Nick, I love you. You love me. We're best friends like family should be. I love you. You love me. I can't wait to see you tomorrow for lunchies. And yes, we'll play all the games you want to play. And this is what we do. And we have fun doing it. Yes, I'm dancing with you. Now, can I see your toy? Yes, sir. We're headbanging. Have you been listening to like heavy metal with him?
No,
He's in a
absolutely
mosh
not.
pit in his head.
He actually loves Elvis Presley music because I took him to an Elvis Presley impersonator at a restaurant. They were having an Elvis Presley because he loves music. So, and then I listened to classical music. We listened to all the top hits of the 70s and 60s.
Can you give me an Elvis Presley song that I can sing him real quick that I might know? Oh,
Um,
love you, baby. I just have his
lovely,
voice. Can you give me like lyrics?
lovely, tender. And
That's
there's oh my God,
it's like
I
the most
listen
famous
to so
Elvis
much
song.
Elvis because of the baby, and you'd think I would know, but I'm
Elvis, guys, give me Elvis. Give me Elvis.
hey, hey, little mama, hey, little mama.
I don't know that one. Wait, got it. I ain't nothing but a hound
Hound
dog. I ain't nothing but a hound dog.
rocking all the time.
I ain't nothing but a hound dog. Rocking all the time. I ain't nothing but a hound dog. He's little baby Elvis.
Yeah,
He's like,
loves
give me a
Elvis.
banana mayonnaise sandwich, please. He's like, no, I'm not Elvis. I'm better. I love you, Nick.
So cute.
So cute. Oh my
So
God.
cute.
Ah! Did you just run away?
He- He's now he ran away and he's like creeping back. He's like, Shh, there she is. You see her? There she is.
Hi, I love you, Nick. I've known you since before you were born, and I will always love you. Say, that's confusing. Ain't nothing but a hound dog. Do 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 do. Ain't nothing but a hound dog. Do 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 do. Yeah, I know. We could dance together. Tomorrow we're going to dance for sure, sir. Ain't nothing but a hound dog. And my name is Nicholas. Where's Nicholas? Where is Nicholas? Where's Nicholas? Where's Nicholas? Does he have a toy called Nicholas?
He's he doesn't have a toy, Nicholas, no. But he hears noises in the kitchen and he's like he always like
Oh.
wants to see where that noise is coming from. He's very
What's in his
like
hand? What's a toy?
that's the letter F. He loves his alphabets.
Aw.
Yeah, the letter F.
Fun. F is for fun for Nicholas. He goes, no, you're getting it all wrong. Oh, you're so cute. You're so
I
cute,
know
Nicholas.
he is so cute. Like look at that little bum.
I
Look at
can't
those
even. I can't
look
even with him.
those little toddler legs, toddler bum. So cute.
I love
Especially
how he likes to like show it off too.
he's like getting taller. It's like
He looks
just
big. He looks huge.
I know. He's just getting more and more tall. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't believe I recorded a podcast with Nicholas. This is my first attempt at, we're actually not as a toddler. I used to there's a few, I think well, the last episode that I no, yeah, the last episode that we did, which I haven't published, Nick was a baby and he was jumping in his jumper. So I did a
Yeah, I
podcast.
remember the little like circular machine thing.
Yeah.
It's not a machine, but it's got the strings.
Yeah. Well, no, that's sorry. That one we published. We published the one when he was in his jumper, and that was the only podcast. No, so there's other podcasts I've done when he was a newborn, that I've had other people like, just be around so that if he was napping because he was newborn, he napped a lot, so it was easier. I haven't done a lot of podcasts, obviously,
Here
when
comes
since he was
Nicholas.
born.
Nicholas, we love you. What are you looking at? Oh, you know who Nicholas might want to see? Oh no, come here. Come here. Up, 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 up. Up, up, up. Come here.
You want to
Yella,
see the
yella,
dog?
yella, yella.
Look,
Up, up,
look.
up. Come
You
here.
want to see the doggy? She's
Up,
going to
up,
show you
up,
the
up, up.
dog.
Up, up,
There's a
up.
dog.
Come here. Up. Good boy. Up, up, up. All the way. Come here. Look,
You
Nicholas,
see
do you
the
like the
dog?
dog?
You see the dog?
What do you think about Hondo? That's Hondo. Do you like Hondo, Nick? I know your mom doesn't love Hondo,
Yeah.
but
Well,
maybe
that's
you
because I
will
just
like
have
to hang out with Hondo.
I like him. It's just
I
sometimes I
know.
just have a paranoid of the
Well,
big
first, a Hondo
dogs.
weighs more than you. Let's
Yeah.
be real. Like I can understand. Come here. Up. I want you to say hi to Nick. Up, up, up. Come on. Up, up, up. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Now. Yes, good boy. Come on. Good boy. So look, Baby. We both have babies. It's
Yeah.
different kinds. Up, up, up. No, I need you up here so you can say hi to Nick. Come on, up, up, up. Right here. Good boy. Good boy. Up. Okay, say hi. Look, look. That's your friend. That's your friend. What do you want to say, Honda? See, I'm tired of being told what to do right now. Look,
Good job.
Nicholas, that's your friend. That's Hondo.
You're so cute. I can't get over how cute you are. You're so cute.
He's so cute.
Mm. I can't get enough of kissing him and hugging him. Oh, he's just so adorable.
Now Hondo wants to get all the way up. You want to come all the way up? You can come. Mm. Mm. Incessantly. So should we wrap it up with how do we wrap it up?
So we're going to wrap up the Happy Being Well podcast with a sum up of highlights. So the highlights are, we've basically covered a lot of different aspects of how events can shape our fear and how that can translate into our personal decision-making process and things that we can do to maintain control over our state, importantly. And
State, are you talking about like our internal state, or are you talking about the state of affairs?
internal state. Yeah, not being stuck in fear or paralysis, which is fear. Fear can show up in paralysis, or it can show up in anger, even anger. Fear is the cause of anger. Fear really is the root.
Sad is mad. I've learned that.
Yeah, underneath anger is sadness, but underneath sadness really is fear. So fear can translate into anger.
Or like feeling lack of ability to control like your destiny or your right. Agree.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So, but things that we're talking about now, we can through our choices, how we can manage our state that will propel their thinking so that we can make better decisions. So that's really the summation of today's podcast topic.
Don't take that away from me. I was going to say in sum because I just love the way that sounds. You know, you've heard that before, right? In sum, like in sum. In sum, there's a lot working against us. Tell me where and if and where you disagree. There's a lot of forces that are working against us now, if you will, and against our internal circumstances, against our even like the Tibetan yoga, Tibetan monks, I'm sure, are a little shook right now, right? But we can commit, like have an intention to know that we are stronger than anything that's an external micro or macro influence on us, and we can make consistent choices with as clear as a mind as we can. I think journaling is one thing you kept saying that I overlooked, and I didn't mean to overlook it. I wanted to bring it up like three different times. One of the most important and healthiest things that you can do is
Okay.
journal.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, external affecting internal, and then recognizing both factors, and also just to recognize internal too. Because we're having internal stuff based on our actual personal program, that we're not even aware of, that will come to the surface when an event happens. And then some people are not paying attention to
Can I get an amen?
yeah. Some people are not paying attention to why they're behaving a certain way. So it's because of, whether it's a belief system or a value you've been holding on to unconsciously that you're not even consciously aware of. So that's why it's important to, journal and most importantly, self-reflect. So reflecting on the past, going back over certain situations, whether it's workplace, whether it's a past relationship, with whatever it is, and showing and just documenting, like, how did you react? Like, what are the patterns? Did you try to, like, sometimes we're not perfect. And so sometimes we can provoke another person
Wait, hold
because
on.
maybe
You're not perfect? That's so weird. I'm not perfect either.
we're not 100%. Sometimes
What the
we have blind spots on our you know fears or ways that we have strategies in order to garner control or to make us feel safe, right? Sometimes we're not even aware that we're doing that. So it's important that we do these exercises and go and self-reflect so that we are aware of why we're doing what we're doing and the pattern of that, and really.
patterns? Yes. Like specifically reflecting on our own personal patterns that usually start from stuff that we experience in childhood or adult life, right? But then I feel like there are patterns that people develop that they might not even be conscious of since 2020 or even I mean, we like if you're 20 years old, there's been at least two global things that probably shook you into one state or another, you know? But remembering that we are autonomous. I love, and I know that you've heard me talk about him, Stuart Wilde. Stuart Wilde, Wilde, Stuart Wilde. He wrote a bunch of books. One of them was my Bible that I carried around for years called Infinity. It's Infinite Self by Stuart Wilde. So remembering that each human being, each of us are autonomous. One of the most important things he said in one of his books and in lectures, you are your own government. Do not
Mhm.
subscribe to the government of the place that you're living in. You are an autonomous being. You're your own government. You make your own laws and your own rules, and that's what you stick by. And if some of them
Mhm.
happen to overlap with political figures or things that are happening, great. But just make sure it's authentically coming from you. Again, back to you are your own government. You are your own autonomous entity.
Right. Totally. But you also keep in mind, like, it's okay to get, like, to react in the moment. Sometimes we're going to do it naturally, but just don't get stuck there, and, like, use tools to kind of, like we said, achieve clarity to kind of, like, what's the best course of action for you so that you can move forward and still, you know, still design a life that you enjoy living, whether it's, achieving more success or whatever it is, like, to not have those things clout it's clouding your bandwidth, your ability to make.
Process information, take information in.
Yeah, or even, like, think of possibilities of action. So it's actually, like, limiting your ability to think of other possibilities that can be possible for you if you just simply decide to shift your awareness into this particular action and commit this action that's actually going to lead to much more better things for you, as opposed to being stuck into a particular situation where you may feel victimized by someone, and how unjust and da 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 da. And sometimes, you can get stuck there. And then, that looks different in different ways. It could be just literally being stuck there, like reliving it over and talking about it. And then what happens is you start to look for other events and you start to project victimization onto those events. Wow, they just happen to be events, like, but you're just.
Instead of addressing yourself. So, like in Sum, can we say, and tell me if you disagree, in Sum, the only thing you can ever control, truly control, is your internal circumstances.
Yes, and what decisions you can make, and heighten your awareness into other possibilities of potentiality, of opportunities that you can create in your life, as opposed to just, like, being so fixated on a particular event. And sometimes, I'm just having it docked into your mind and, like, not really releasing it. And then what happens is, like, you start to Remember we talked about how we filter information, generalization, distortion, or omitting information. So you can distort future events into like, oh, this person is abusing me and I'm the victim. You can like distort it that way. But
You can
meanwhile,
distort. Wait, did you say future? Because I feel like, especially with trauma brain, you can distort past events, you can distort present events, 100% future. But I was just wondering why you just said future. You can distort future. Like that is a very important thing to know that traumatic stuff, chaotic things. That's one reason why eyewitness statements are not valid in court anymore. They will have 7 people that saw the same exact thing. Okay, let's just throw it out there. I'm going to make something up. A guy is wearing a green shirt and red pants, and what do you call it? He vandalizes a grocery store. The 7 eyewitnesses that were all there when the man in the, what did I say, green shirt, red pants, green
yeah.
shirt, red pants, all eyewitnesses saw it happen. This has been going on since, well, at least 30 years that I know about. Every single one. He had a yellow shirt and blue pants. He had a red shirt and or he had a green shirt and red pants. Like it's crazy because our brains and here we go with World War IV or whatever, mind control war. That's how compromised the brain gets when chaos, trauma, external what's the word I'm looking for? External uh, um, I want to say dissuage. It's an extreme word, but like external things that affect how we interpret things. And I think that when we go into trauma brain or we're around a lot of chaos, we go back to different things that can distort what happened in the moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Especially when you're experiencing a traumatic event like that, your emotions hijack your perceptions and what you're saying, especially your ability to recall the event, because it's like it's a lot to process, and it's like, am I seeing, I could speak for myself when I see things like that. I'm like, am I really seeing that? It's like, and it's a lot. It's a shock to the system. So. Um, it's difficult to recall with certainty what the details of the images you're seeing, because your emotions are just like completely blinking everywhere, and you're just like your operating system is just like completely.
Modus operandus. Well, the one thing that I've thought of a lot is like how much like people underestimate people that don't know things underestimate how powerful this is. And okay, so I think that there are a lot of 3-letter agencies, etc., that understand this very well. That when chaotic, disturbing, traumatic things happen, people's brains are literally thrown off.
Mhm.
So you asked me to come here today to talk about what we can do to sustain clarity during chaotic and traumatic events. There are things that are basic and important. Feeling your feet on the ground, breathing into your stomach, remembering that you know who you are. I'm going to say that again for all of those of you. I always fuck everything up, Rita. For all y'all in the back, remembering that you remember who you are, no matter what is happening externally. But like there's this experience, and you and I both experienced a lot of trauma, not just like COVID, I feel like was trauma for the planet, right? But traumatic events happen to like when I meet somebody that's just like nothing's happened to them, they haven't lost anyone, their life is just pretty like easy does it one way or the other. I literally can't even have a conversation with them. I feel like sometimes like you haven't been stabbed, like nothing. Because I think that once things, and I'm not saying that that should happen. I think I think I'll get my point across clearly now. Most people have been through stuff, and I've found that the people who have been sheltered from being through stuff, or literally just have been lucky enough to not have been through stuff, it's like I can talk to you about the weather and stuff, but there's really not much else we can you know what I mean? Like, because I don't really do small talk. And I think that's because of trauma and because of stuff. But we can all remember who we are before the trauma happened, whether it was like COVID is something everyone can relate to, is what I'm saying. But all the other stuff that happens that I know you have experienced separately and that I've experienced, we can remember who we are. And we can also be in radical forgiveness, which is I might have reacted this way. I might not have reacted this way, or I wanted to react this way. Whatever it is, just constantly forgiving ourselves and keeping like continuing to move forward with the confidence that we're not never going to lose our gut instincts. That we're always going to stay with what we know is true and remember who we are.
Absolutely. Um, yeah, absolutely. It's just that's the whole point of like having this discussion. Even throughout this discussion, like I, was having more and more awarenesses of that process. So it's important to be aware of it. I mean, it's hard once you're going through it. I mean, you just whatever,
It's
yeah.
impossible. That's the whole point of the conversation, no? Like the impossibility of things sometimes, especially lately.
But once you I think it's important to just go through what you're feeling and feel the emotions but then start to, achieve clarity through the tools that we spoke of, whether it's journaling, talking to a trusted friend, perhaps even a therapist, a trusted therapist, meditating, self-reflecting, and thinking of possibilities, imagining possibilities of action that you can do to further propel yourself forward with more joy, more happiness,
And
more
not be
success.
stuck,
Yeah,
most importantly, but definitely also not go backwards, right?
right. Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people have issues being stuck. It's really easy to stay stuck, in whatever form that looks like.
It's paralysis.
Yeah, paralysis. Um, yeah, I think the most common trauma response is the freeze. So we are, you
Yeah.
know, it's just a freeze. So is our most common popular trauma response. And that looks different in different ways. But yeah, totally. I think it's important that we are aware of that so that we can move forward better, So we're not constantly lashing out at someone who's triggering us, right? So we have better control of our emotional state and have better responses. Yeah.
Unless they owe you $3 million, in which case you'll be Ashley Cummings and you'll have weekly Twitter freak-offs.
All right. I think we literally like went over every single thing
I love
possible.
you. I love you, Nick.
He's out playing right now in the backyard. All right. Love you too, Ashley. And guys, if you enjoy this podcast, it's an awfully long podcast. Talks about a lot of great things. Subscribe to the Happy Being Well podcast. Whether we're on Apple iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Pandora, YouTube, anywhere that you listen to a podcast.
I was
All
just going to
right?
say, is it anywhere you listen to a podcast?
Anywhere you listen to a podcast. All right. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you
Sending
for
love and
being
light.
here. I love you, Rita.
Love you too, Ashley.
Bye.
If you learned something new or were inspired to live happy being well, please be sure to subscribe to the Happy Being Well podcast so you don't miss an upcoming episode. Also, please feel free to leave a 5-star review, including what you learned or what inspired you in today's episode. This podcast is presented by happybeingwell.com, your online store for natural wellness products, so you can live happy being well. Order your next all-natural essential oil, all-natural face mask, all-natural bath soap, all-natural deodorant, herbal tea, crystals including crystal home decor and kitchen items, irresistible leggings, and much more at happybeingwell.com. Free shipping on all orders within the USA. Welcome to the Happy Being Well podcast, where we talk about strategies and insights so you can live happy being well with your host, Rita Farruggia. This podcast is presented by happybeingwell.com, your online store providing the best in all natural wellness products, such as natural essential oils, all natural bath products, all natural facial masks, all natural deodorants, irresistible leggings, crystals including crystal home decor and kitchen items, herbal teas, natural sleep aids, and so much more natural wellness goodies at happybeingwell.com. Free shipping on any order within the USA at happybeingwell.com. Now enjoy the show.